Hello? Yeah, you here? Yep, aisle 300? Yeah, and you took a left at the fake grass? Yep, you did? No, okay, good. Nah, one of the flamingos? No, you're going too far. You got to back up, and can you see me? Oh, I can see you. No, I'm over here. Just by the pizza ovens. Yep, you got me. Hey, we got them. They're here. Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, you're here. You're back.
This episode of the Hammerbarn Project is called Under One Woof.
Welcome back to the Hammerbarn Project. My name is Brendan, and I've got my main man, as always, Frank, over there.
G'day.
And Frank,
Yeah?
there's something notably different about Martin today.
Well, I'm in a different seat. I feel like there's someone sitting in my seat.
He is in your seat, isn't he?
Yeah. How does that work?
I don't know. He's usually...
I'm physically present.
That's
Whoa,
what's different. That's
right.
it.
Why did it take
Got
you
it.
so long to realise that?
Marty's here!
Yay!
Usually, he's in Sydney, but right now I could reach out and touch him.
Please don't.
I won't,
No.
because he might run back to Sydney. And we only just got him back. Oh, Marty, it is...
It's so good to be here.
It's not to mention something that is time specific, because we want the evergreen love of the Bluey show to be as evergreen as our... No, I said that the wrong way around. What I meant to say was to mention something like COVID and what we've been living through, like Zoom calls and Skype calls or whatever. It's part of everything. So you get so used to it, but there really is nothing like having you in the room, Marty man. So, because Marty's here, and this is the Hammerbarn Project podcast that you were so nice to tune back into, or maybe you're just joining us.
Right, first episode.
I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just feeling good because I got my friends here. But there is one episode that we decided to do today because it's where we got our name.
Yeah. It's the Marty Project.
It's the Marty Project.
This episode of the show is called the Hammerbarn Project. Oh, wait, it's just Hammerbarn?
That's the episode. Yeah.
What's the name of the actual episode? Just Hammerbarn?
Just Hammerbarn.
Right.
Yeah. I've got that. I keep saying Hammerbarn, but this is the Hammerbarn Project. But we don't want to steal their actual name. We just want to use it.
Use it for our nefarious means. So this is the second episode of Season 2. And the start of Season 2, in my opinion, that first 10 episodes, probably... If you had to pick a 10-episode block, some of the most amazing episodes. And we're going to get into this one. But Marty, as always, can you give us the bark down?
So I think this episode is really about the real housewives of dog Queensland area. Like, keeping up with the Joneses. How do you keep up with the Joneses? How do you have the best husband? The one who's best at yard work.
Yeah.
Having a trip to Hammerbarn to pick up some things and learn a lesson about being happy with what you have despite what other people might have, whether it be a pizza oven or the better husband.
Yeah.
Lawn gnome.
And so in previous episode, we've spoken about, the IKEA experience and what that can do to the stress of a marriage. But this is taking the family to a hardware store, which can be just as stressful. Now, you might think, if you'd never seen this episode going into it, that this would be a bandit episode. Not really. He's in it for about 3 or 4 zingers.
Yeah.
And then it's largely Chili and the girls.
Isn't that funny? Like, one of the first episodes we talked about, Magic Xylophone, being, you'd think it was a bandit episode, but Chili has some of the classic liners.
Yep.
And it's great how they do that. It's
Yeah.
like the flip side of that. You think, Hammerbarn, this is going to be all about bandit. And he's in there for some absolute classic lines. But yeah, Chili's the more present... role model in this. Well, everyone learns a little bit of a lesson.
No, that's true. That's a really good point.
What does Bandit learn, though?
He's not good at making pizza.
No, he is, though. He looks a bit
Oh,
bodgy.
no, that's true. Yeah. He's not good at the aesthetics of pizza.
Yeah, what does Bandit
Yeah.
learn?
He learns
that if
how
you-
many BT... Now, is BTUs an actual measurement? I have
Yeah.
that. There you go. I thought that was made up for the show.
I think
Shows what I
that's
know.
right. Unless I'm totally mistaken, I thought...
The only other reference I know to that is in The Matrix.
Yeah. Which,
Yeah, talk
like,
about
not
BTUs.
Also
Body
made in
heat.
Australia.
not to get silly, but like, why would you use the human body as a battery when we're not really we don't produce the heat? We use things to just
Save that for your other podcast,
Yeah,
Dissecting the Matrix.
dissecting all the flaws in the Matrix.
Or just like dissecting humans.
Yeah.
Where we talk about like the BTUs that they produce. Getting into a creepy space with, Anyway, back to the episode. fun, family, wholesome, starting off the episode with like the house falling apart. And I think like the first bit of competition, her watermelon is redder than mine.
Yep.
And I love Bandit's immediate response is, no, it isn't.
And yet, if you actually look
denial.
if you look at the animation, it's
It
actually
is.
right.
Yeah,
They've actually done it, which could have gone either way. They could have just left it the same, and it's that kid thing where you imagine something is bigger and better than the one you have because it's your sister or brother that has it.
It's just broadcasting straight away Bandit's lack of willingness to even get involved. Just, no, it isn't. I'm not even going to be part of this conversation.
I'm not going to fix the gutters. I'm not going to. It must be someone else's kid that's yelling. I'll meet you guys in the car.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Banda's on the escape.
See,
Keeps on stepping out of this episode, giving himself excuses.
Seeing as you brought that line up, that is a line that gets quoted between me and my brother-in-law Nick a lot because we go camping together, and just he loves that bit. It's actually because my sister Kelly married Nick. And Kelly's the one who introduced me to Bluey, and I'm forever in her debt because of that. But yeah, so Bluey's a big part of that family dynamic, and so yeah, it's always it's probably another Bluey.
Someone else.
Probably a different. This is a kid with my name, my unique name. It's probably them. I don't have to worry about that.
And then we go at the bit that I think Brendan loves the most.
Oh, okay.
Early call on this one.
Oh, no, not the bit that's going to make Brendan upset.
Sure.
It's not necessarily upset. It's just overwhelmed with manly emotion.
Okay, well, it's the bit that you do every time we talk about this episode, which is Lucky's dad calling out over the fence.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
It's so good. It's just like, hey, Bandit, check it out. New pizza oven. Pretty sweet, eh? Just got it from Hammerbarn. It's so good. Like just blokes and neighbours and the competitive nature of like dads.
And then
it's
and
just-
Bandit's response where he's just steely-eyed and he's like, we're going to Hammerbarn. Just doesn't
It
move.
that line delivery is perfect with a little eyebrow movement that goes kind of like down in between and then back up again.
And it was just right after Bandit's trying to convince, like, oh, you don't have to worry about it. It's
yeah,
not a
it's like,
competition.
but the grass is always greener.
That's
Yeah.
the line, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just right after then. Pretty sweet, eh? Just picked it up from Hammerbarn. We got a Hammerbarn.
And then the follow-up line from Chili, just to make sure I didn't get that connection the first time that Bandit is doing exactly the same thing as the girls and like trying to one-up one another.
Yeah.
Yep.
That went completely over my head, and then I had great fun the second time because Chili's got that line like, man, his lawn's looking good.
I think I'm going to give everyone a eternal pass on missing stuff in the show because there's just so much. You can't get it. Like, I missed something that's probably even more obvious because it's like the whole show. Like, when they're in the trolley at Hammerbarn, they are neighbours. They're playing neighbours and they're just like, I was just...
Levels.
that either.
Yeah. And it's
This
just...
can be our fence.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, I look at it now and just go, oh... Why am I admitting this on a microphone? It's that stupid. but because when you're in the moment, like I guess I'm guilty of watching the show like a kid would watch the show, and just the noises they make and the fun they're having.
Cook.
Flip. And don't get me started on just that flip. It's just they could have done it. It could have just been cook flip. But the
Delivery.
Emphatic. There's so many good deliveries.
The
I literally had flip
yeah.
as a note to bring up.
Man,
It's like-
and I was doing that just yesterday with my niece Nora at home. She's got one of those fake kitchens, the wooden kitchens. She's like, you've got one, Frank.
Yep.
We just walked past it.
Yep.
And she was cooking eggs, air quotes, eggs, and cooking. And I was just going, cook, flip. And I was supposed to be playing with my niece, and I just went off into my own little world of how funny the word flip is.
world.
And the icing on the cake in this show, like the little bits that don't have to be there and just are, is just, I mean, I've said it before and I could keep saying it forever. Just like they just, the little extra things that they put on that somehow don't seem like they're gilding the lily. Sometimes they just, it's just that sound and everything about the show.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
The other side of this I like is the emotional blackmail that Bluey sort of puts
Onto
Bingo, where he's like, oh, please, can I have the pizza flipper? It's all I ever wanted in the whole wide world.
Such a good
Okay, hands it over. Next thing you know, Bingo comes into possession of a dining table. She's like, oh, I'll swap you the pizza flipper back. And Bingo, no way.
I think that's just a really interesting moment. I think they play it out. You can get the newspaper out, play it out in another episode of just Bingo so wanting Bluey to be happy, she'll put herself in a position of being less happy. You know, just sort of having that thing. So it's a really interesting little moment that, they unpack in a different episode, which is cool. You said before, like, oh, it's all I want in the whole world. Yeah. That's something that I say to Naomi. Like, this is my, 1-year-old daughter desperately wants whatever it, like that used tissue. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I realize that this is all you've wanted in the entire world. You've just realized this is what you wanted in the entire world up until this point. She's getting upset because I'm trying to take this thing away. But, oh man, just the entire fixation on this single thing as part of your existence.
The other key part of this episode I love is that Bluey smashes, one of the gnomes. Oh, one of the husbands always gets it. Like, that's
and the Chili's hand action. She's got this, like, chop, chop. This is what happens. One of the husbands gets it.
I love this. Sorry to cut you off, but keep in mind what you were going to say. But I did not do my homework for this one, and we were at Frank's place, and we just had to put it on the TV and watch it so that I could brush up on exactly. And Marty, I caught you watching that bit, and you did the hand action.
In sync.
Loved it so much.
The concept of you have to pay for stuff, but what this you can't just get everything you want for free. And then they turn the corner, it's like, and it's the paint samples up on the wall. Look, it's everything we ever wanted. Are these all free? And Chili with the same sort of facial expressions that Bandit does at the start of the episode. Yes, they're all for free.
Just that kind of
resignation.
Like, I can't lie to my kids. Yes, this is free, but this has just undone my lesson.
And then they start playing house, and they put on their posh voice, which I really
this is the real
the names. There was I think I got
Hecubus.
Yeah. There was Sheralander, which comes up a few times, and Rhonda and Gerald. Like they're their fancy names.
And when not to jump too far ahead, but when they're losing their stuff because the young lass at the counter is having to scan it, like when Gerald gets taken, Gerald,
you're taking my husband.
The
trolley
scream.
rocking. She's just like having a little flip out. I do love all the stuff about the husbands because I think there's so many like lines with additional weight in there, barbed lines. So it's like her husband's better than mine. You got to be happy with what you've got.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you're not happy with what you got. Somebody's husband eventually gets it. That's true. What she's saying about that one instance, and somebody's husband got it because the gnome cracked.
Yeah.
But the broader lining there is that somebody's husband's gonna.
Even just how transferable husbands are. It's like, oh, hello new
husband.
I want a husband as well. Like, I want to find someone to be with. I want this thing that's a husband for me.
Yeah, and one that can do yard work. It's just, it's just the way it becomes itemized. It becomes objectified. It's so much fun.
Marty, did you have any Australianisms for us in this one?
Well, the question I was going to ask you guys is, what is your favourite detail about Hammerbarn, in inverted quotes, itself? Because there's clearly one particular... We've just been saying the names of things, so it's clearly a Bunnings.
It's clearly a Bunnings.
Very clearly a Bunnings.
Although with a better car park. It's got a better car park than my local Bunnings. I'll say that. There are some Bunnings out there with better car
But what is your favourite, transfer?
That's a great question.
It is pretty much a one-to-one.
Yeah, the price tags. Because in the background...
that was mine, really? Frank!
Every shot, whatever's on the shelf is... I won't say lacking in detail, but you can't really tell. It's just generic looking shapes and boxes, and yet the price tags, you can read every single one of them. They're yellow. They're all in that same font. Yes.
Oh man, no, that was mine. But I do also love. Obviously, it's the orange sort of block together metal shelving that's got that very industrial feel, but also the box bin at the exit.
Yeah.
Where you're like
Yep.
and they've even got like a little beaver character
I saw that,
hanging
yeah.
off there. So he's like, you know,
He's the mascot of the
little
store.
mascot,
Yeah.
which creates interesting questions around like, are we in one country that just happens to be dogs? And there are other countries where people are beavers, or
Well,
are beavers
'cause
just animals?
There's sort of the use of cats in this show is interesting because,
Ooh.
like, what's that? With the really annoying song. It's like Cat Squad. Cat Squad. It's almost like done like a kid's sort of superheroes thing. So you sit there, and go, in the Bluey world, I don't think cats exist as like another race or another species.
Yeah.
I think they're this.
Cats are just cats.
Well, I think they're like
birds are birds.
Birds are
Well,
birds.
that's true. That's a good point. But we have yet to see any anthropomorphic cats in this entire show. So I think they're almost like dragons are to us. They're these mythical creatures.
Interesting.
I think
theory.
hopefully it'll come up on a future episode.
Now, that's usually the kind of theory that Marty would come up with, Frank. Is him being here having some kind of osmosis.
It's
Yeah,
just,
maybe
you know,
it is.
I smell the musk and it's what happens.
So, thinking about my favourite obvious Bunnings nod,
yes.
I like that you can't see what's written on there's just dog world gibberish on lots of signs throughout the show. But I like that there are prices. They're up on the end of the aisles. You've just got like blah blah blah, like whatever it is, and then a price, and then one's like $14.95 and the other one's like $99, and you just the kind of random stuff that hardware stores decide to put on the end of the aisle, like
Spoken like a man who's worked retail for far too long.
yeah. It may as well
all
just
about the
be.
end cap.
It may as well just be gibberish. But you think, what could that be? That's and also the staff, like they lucked out with having a lovely lady at the checkout. But the gentleman that Bandit asked for his directions on how to find a pizza oven. I just like the joke of how big this place is.
Aisle 300.
Aisle 300 left at the fake grass. It's so expansive, and also it's so classic of the staff at my hardware store, where you kind of see them and just they are helpful, but they've just helped 40,000 people that day.
They're dead inside.
Yeah, they're dead inside. The deadness of the employee problem. Nothing, because I have friends who work at Bunnings, and so nothing against them. But I have worked in retail myself, and I understand you're going to do your job, but you're not necessarily going to be happy about it after the 4,000th time.
Which brings me then to the doggy treats of this episode.
Here we go.
Okay, so the voice Brendan was alluding to when Bandit is asking for directions. It's a very monotone version. You might recognise him from Lego Masters, which is currently airing amongst many other things he's done. But Australia's very own Hamish Blake is the voice of that dog. The one I had to look up was the checkout lady at the end, and that is actually Hamish's wife, Zoe, I believe. So,
see, I didn't know that, but after watching it today, before you clued me in on that, I suspected it was someone.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird? I don't know. It's this thing where I don't know if it's something in the quality of the voice or the way they record it or just the way, like what you're expecting, or like you see a certain kind of character and you kind of put yourself in the mind of like, oh, I would have got a cameo to do that if I were making this show.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hamish, I believe, shows up in a later episode with a few more lines. He's the dad of one of the other characters.
Right, gotcha.
And he has a few more lines in that one. Look, the other quick doggy treat I'll shout out was we actually get to see Quinton, who's the little... he's the one who, in the helicopter game where he's like, goes to jump... Quinton, you can't just jump out of the helicopter.
Oh, is it? I thought it was Winton.
Winton? I thought it was Quinton. I could be wrong.
We might check that, but I know what but that's okay.
And he's
you guys get the rolled up newspapers out. I don't care. That part of that episode with Winton and his dad. Yeah. Ow! But that was me getting hit by a rolled up newspaper.
Ah, right.
I'm just such a good.
You're such a great actor.
Yeah, that you didn't know what I was
doing. That you had to
doing.
explain what you did, because that's a sign of a great actor.
That's how you know.
But yeah, him and his dad are walking past in the opposite direction, and it's very quick. They've either got pizza or they've got the classic Bunnings sausage and bread.
I think it must be the sausage and bread
in their hands.
Because they've got that. She's got more sauce than I do.
Right.
Yeah,
and once again,
yep.
Bandit's like, no, she doesn't.
Okay, this
Denial.
is another example of my answers being dynamic and ever changing. That's my favorite detail. The sausage and the bread. Even though I like this year, I think I would have been a veggie for like 9 years, but it splits splits people into two camps when I tell them that I still go there to get just the onion and sauce in bread because it's so good.
Is that a thing?
That is it. Well, I think it's a thing.
They have a Brendan special.
Here I am.
Oh look, Brendan's that guy's coming again. Hey, quick, give him the onions and the bread.
Because the advertising strictly says $2 for a sausage. Can I just get the bread and onions? Yeah. How much is that? He says $2 for a sausage. Yeah, it's free. Now go away.
Here I am, bearing my soul to my friends, expecting you to support me when thousands of others have done exactly this. So I don't know what I was expecting, and berating me for going, because I get the same looks from the people behind the barbecue when I go, is it, because I always do, like, because I'm not even sure that it's something that they're expecting. And so I just say, can I just get, like, onion in bread? And they always kind of look around at each other going, how much do we charge for this abomination? But it's so good. Like, it is really tasty. And how can you walk past one of those and smell? I still love the smell after all these years.
Ooh, yeah.
The very last bit for me, of course, when he's bought his pizza oven, Bandit comes home and he's like, all right, here you go. Oh, looks a bit bodgy. Now,
that's a lovely Australianism
for sure.
That would be the other one.
That's for our international listeners. It's dodgy or a bit bad or a bit not great, whatever term you want to use. And then the making amends with old Lucky's dad over the fence. There you go, swapping pieces of pizza, and then Chili's impressed, and he's like, the quick high five they give each other.
Man.
No eye contact.
High five.
Yeah.
I love that final sequence because one of the things that Bluey's great at doing is little couplets. So we had the couple of couplets in the opening sequence of just like, it's got character and nothing lasts forever. So at the end of the Hammerbar sequence, we have nothing lasts forever because your play environments had to, your play houses got taken down. And then when it's the pizza's bodgy, it's like, well, it's got character. And I especially love all the things that they bought at Hammerbarn are somewhere in that scene. So the fairy lights are there, the pot plants are there, the pizza stone is there, all those sorts of things. So yeah, that all gets included again. So
nice.
Everything's sort of nicely contained.
Well, maybe we do have to go now because now I have to go and rewatch it. Thanks, Marty. Yeah, that high five, like the relationship between Bandit and Pat, like it's this competition, but it's also like they've got this understanding, like they do just trade pizzas at the end, so it's like admitting that it's just a healthy competition, and also that high five says so much because it's after he's got the nod from Chili, like no, you were right. This is like because that great line,
wife approval,
exactly. That's exactly what it
like,
is.
when as they're entering, like I think it's during or just before the establishment shot of Hammerbarn and that car park that I wish I had at my Bunnings. Just before then, you hear is the pizza going to taste better? Like, yep. Nope. But then she admits that,
she comes
and
around.
so it's that's approval, and also the returning of the high five from Pat suggests that maybe he's been through the
same
similar
thing
sort of thing, and it's just this universal vindication that we can keep our pizza ovens. Well, folks, you know what we should do? Because I feel bad taking this little Hammerbarn related sign out every week. Is it folly to try and like split it up and we'll do it together? Is that a bad idea? Is that gonna
right?
And I thought if there was any episode that we do it, we'll do it here.
Sure.
And so I'll just go like, what is it? We'll just try it.
Yep.
I'm going to warn you now. I'm going to mess it up.
Okay. Excellent.
So let's go.
This is why editing's a thing.
All
It's
right.
fine.
Yeah, okay,
Here we
cool.
go. All right.
I'm going to do this perfectly due to editing.
Well, thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Marty, for being here.
Hey.
It's so good to have you in the room.
Oh, it's so good. It took extra time for you guys to set up the cables, and it was very entertaining to watch, but we're here. And we made it.
Yeah, the whole one extra mic really took me nearly over the edge, didn't it?
I was almost going to have to go home so we could get it working.
It was easier to have him zoom in. And Frank, thank you for having the room
worries, mate.
with the cables.
That's what we do.
Because there was a cable that I didn't bring.
Oh, shame.
And who had one?
This guy.
Yeah, it's a podcast. You can't point.
Yeah, I can point. It's just stupid.
It's just pointless.
No, thanks for joining us, guys. We're going to try this universal sign out because Marty's here, and this is the Hammerbarn episode. So if we're ever going to give it a red hot go,
I love the pre-planning. Like, we couldn't have practiced this before pressing record.
We could have, but where's the magic, Frank? Folks, thank you for being part of the magic. I love doing this with my friends, and I love that you're tuning in. Till next time, find us at aisle 300.
Left at the fake grass.
And if you see a flamingo, you've gone too far.
That'll do it.